The nature of the mind is clear light emptiness. And then there's a very well-known quote here from this pile of Jewel Sutra that says, the mind has never been seen, it is not seen now, nor will it ever be seen, even by any of the past, present or future Buddhas. So even an enlightened being can't find the mind, because it's not findable. But of course that doesn't mean there's no mind. The mind, again, is merely labelled on a collection of many moments of experience. So then, to finish off this section here, it says, in brief, as my virtuous spiritual friend, the truly omniscient Sangye Yeshi, has personally said, so he's quoting now his own personal teacher, who said, when you are fully aware that whatever dawns is that apprehended by conceptual thought, the ultimate sphere of phenomena dawns without depending upon anything else. Place your awareness within that state which dawns and equipoise single-pointedly. How wonderful. So let's see what that means. He's commenting on that sentence there from his teacher. He says, whatever dawns is that apprehended by conceptual thought. That sentence, it means that when you are aware that whatever dawns is that merely imputed by conception, the ultimate nature of phenomena dawns as an object of awareness without depending upon any other conditions. So what he's saying is that now, when things appear to us, they really appear to exist completely independent of us. And so we have to investigate those appearances to come to see that things do not exist in that way, that there's nothing there findable. But what he's saying is that as we deepen our understanding and experience of emptiness, then, and this will come up a little bit later in the text this afternoon, is that now appearances seem to block emptiness. Because appearances seem to suggest to us that things exist independently. And that's blocking or opposing emptiness. But if we really appreciate and meditate and start to have an experience of emptiness, those very appearances now, which seem to negate emptiness, will confirm emptiness. Because when we see appearances, once we deepen our understanding and experience, those very appearances will appreciate that those things there are merely labelled. And therefore, by understanding that those things are merely labelled, that will deepen our understanding of emptiness, because merely labelled is the flip side of emptiness. So therefore, instead of appearances blocking emptiness, appearances, by simply looking at appearances and seeing that everything's merely labelled, that will enhance and deepen our understanding of emptiness. And that's what's being said here, in saying how wonderful that if you get to the point where you look and that appearance is really confirming to you, therefore, because that's merely labelled, therefore things are empty, then we can just rest in that experience of emptiness without relying upon those lines of reasoning, investigation that we do initially as a beginner. And here he's quoting Chandrakirti, again his classic text on emptiness, says, conventional truth is the method and ultimate truth arises from the method. Meaning that conventional truth are appearances and ultimate truth is emptiness. So these conventional truths, these appearances, can then lead us and deepen that appreciation and understanding and realisation of emptiness. And then the next part says, place your awareness within that state which dawns, means having single-pointedly unified the ultimate nature that dawns as the object of awareness and the subjective consciousness. Place your mind in equipoise. How amazing. So unifying here really means that we're coming to a more direct realisation of emptiness. And as we're going to, if we get time this afternoon, we'll see that initially, when we come to a realisation of emptiness, regardless of what we're investigating, there's still a sense, there's a me, a meditator, and this emptiness that I'm experiencing. And so then it's still a conceptual realization, but then at some point they will become unified or non-dual, and we'll have a direct realization of emptiness. And here he's saying that that is amazing. And then the last point here says, in accordance with those last two lines that were taught, as said by Padampa Sanghi, he was a great Indian Mahasiddha, says, within the state of emptiness, the lance of awareness swirls around. O people of Dingri, the view is without obstruction. All such statements have the same intended meaning. And again, the same intended meaning, and that's something that's reinforced in the next section of the text, which we'll look at this afternoon, is that emptiness and dependent arising, or emptiness and functioning world, are two sides of a coin. That now, for us, it seems like functioning world or appearances negates emptiness or blocks emptiness, and that emptiness seems to negate functioning world. They seem contradictory. But here, and we'll emphasise more later in the text, the real understanding, the correct understanding, is that emptiness means dependent arising. Dependent arising means emptiness. And therefore, we'll get to the point where appearances will enhance our understanding and experience of emptiness. Emptiness will reconfirm the functioning world. They'll be two sides of a coin. That's as much as I want to cover this morning in this session. We've still got a little bit of time left. Is there any questions on anything from this morning?
Yesterday you drew on the board when you talked about impermanence and things, the boxes with lines. You said each time is a thing. And you said, no, there's a flow and you drew a line, which of course also is wrong, because the line is also a thing that obviously doesn't really...
Well, I just use that to, I mean, you have to be visual.
No, clearly, but also I've been thinking about that drawing for the past 15 minutes, and I'm just saying, that line also. So then my mind went to the thing of, well, it should have been like, da, 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 because that's sort of more visualized as like every moment. But even the dot is wrong. So then I said to myself, well, then it's the intention of the dot, like the intention.
So again, as long as we understand that this is all concept, it's all labels we're applying to understand something, then there's no problem. Soon as we turn that concept into an objective thing, there's a big problem. Then nothing can work, nothing can function.
So I sort of see the board...
Therefore, labeling is emptiness, means emptiness. Like there's a poetic way of saying that sometimes is... emptiness is fullness, fullness is emptiness.
I'm almost having the labeling as emptiness. That next one is just...
It's a poetic saying that often is used.
So, a child, until he learns to speak, is in the best...
No. That's often people say, let's go back to the childlike mind. No, that's what's called the pre-trans fallacy. Pre-trans fallacy means that it's not like the child was in some pure state. It means that the child didn't yet have the cognitive ability to draw lines. And as soon as they draw lines, of course, they become boundaries and then a big mess. So we don't want to go back before that. We want to transcend that. We want to transcend grasping. That's pre-grasping, well, not pre-everything. It just means, so there's not some pure state that we degenerated from. It just means we don't have we don't have the cognitive ability to get ourselves into trouble yet. That's all. And as soon as that cognitive ability arises, we're in trouble. So we want to go beyond that, not go prior.
So, in continuation to that, so never in our development, either as a human being or as humanity, we were never at that state. That's what
Yeah.
So, even an achievable goal, we're sitting here, all of our weekend, practicing towards that. Is it even an achievable goal?
Yeah. So a good way, I think, to answer that is to go beyond time. Because we sort of ask these questions with this sort of linear time, objective time, which of course doesn't exist even in physics. So a better way of answering that is, when did all this start, this mess? The answer, I like the answer is now. We're starting it in every single moment. So therefore we can stop it in every single moment.
So this afternoon we're going to stop it?
It's up to you. Because the thing is, often these things, people ask these questions with this sort of linear time and that's then it gets a bit difficult to answer because it's really a bit of a false assumption. I mean, even in physics you can bend and warp time and so forth. So again, there's no objective time. I mean, time exists, but it's merely labelled like everything else. I mean, time is real, but not objective, not independent. Let's break there. So now is I think, Dharma Friends' final talk, and then 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is lunch till 2, and then we'll continue at 2 and finish by 4:30. So.
Thank you.